Everyone, my name is Umal, and today we are going to have the first podcast called the Sadkatongole Podcast or the Sadkatongole Radio Station. I'm your host, Umal, with
Ahimbisu Emmanuel from Kasese Basongora.
Yes, so today we are going to talk about Bamoori and their origin. So this is the first podcast according to this radio station. So, welcome to the podcast. Emmanuel.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yes, we welcome to the family. We have various chairmen of the family.
Yes.
The first chairman that we have is Haj Katongole Beka.
Yes.
So we, as the offsprings, we have a chairman.
Yes.
Called Ayatu Lila Komen Ruhanga. Ruhanga was initially given. Was the name?
Saying Ruhanga in heaven.
But Ruhanga is a name that was given to him by his father.
Yes.
Yes. So is Ayatu Lila Komen Ruhanga. And we have various people from various sects. Like we have, it's almost a hierarchy of people.
Yes.
We have the treasury, we have the one in charge of PR, communication, and also. So, this podcast is to enlighten us more on who are the Bamoori and where we, as the people of the Bamoori and Basongora, came from.
Yes.
I hope that is the trend. So, with the beginning part, where did the Bamoori originate from?
So I give the origin.
Yes, where did the Bamoori originate from? Like somebody might ask, where did the Bamoori originate from?
Yes. Now, according to me, the Bamoori people originated from Israel in the kingdom of Heshbon under the king Sihon. The northern part of Heshbon was mountainous, named Moab, and across was River Jordan. In 1124 BC, due to wars and conflicts, the Bamoori moved to Egypt in 1350s, before the birth of Jesus Christ.
So, and let me clarify this.
Yes.
Those who don't know, due to the past black history,
yes,
the people who lived in Syria at that time, or the Israelis that you're hearing, they were blacks.
Yes.
And the people who lived in Syria were they called the Amorites.
Yes.
The Amorites are we
who
lived in Kannan.
Yes.
So we were basically blacks.
Black.
Yes. So there are many. So don't let people not interfere them with Caucasians or the Arabs that are settling there right now.
Exactly.
But before, they were Arabs. Before the coming, they were blacks before the coming of the Arabs and whites. So we can proceed from that. After them going to Egypt.
Yeah, after reaching Egypt, but due to wars and conflicts in Egypt by 1350s, which was being caused by the king by then called Pharaoh, the Bamoori were forced to move to Abyssinia.
And let me clarify something about that. Pharaoh.
Yes.
It's a title.
It's a title.
Yes, called king.
Yeah, the king.
For us, we say king.
Yes.
Yeah, Omugabe, Kabaka.
Yes.
But to them, it is Pharaoh.
Yes.
Yes. But all those pharaohs were black.
We are black.
Yeah. In fact, they built the pyramid, and they were all black.
Yeah, and one of the reasons is that God, the first man to be created by God, was black. And the origin of man in the world is in Africa.
Is in Africa.
Yes.
So
I believe the first man, Adam, was black man.
Yes.
These others changed the color because of the environment where they are.
They say that because of the ice age. I read that.
All those.
But so when he reached in Abyssinia.
So when they reached in Abyssinia by 1450s, and Abyssinia by then was being led by an emperor called Chomia.
Chomia, a
Yes.
black man.
Yeah, called Chomia. And Chomia pregnanted one of the Bamoori daughter. And the norms and culture of the people of long ago, whenever a child was pregnant, not being married officially, they could send away that child and you go.
Yes, it was the norm.
So during those days when the king pregnanted, and it was bad to say that the king has pregnanted outside marriage, and it was the time when there was war of conquer. He was also expanding the empire, so he was trying to wars of conquer. So that girl was sent away
into exile. So,
but he moved out with the Bamoori from the Abyssinia Empire.
So what you're trying to say, in the old times,
Yes.
whenever a lady could get pregnant,
Yes,
without being married, pregnancy before marriage, he was abandoned into the
Exactly.
from the tribe. So pushed away
Yes.
of the tribe. So when the king realized this,
then they had to abandon the girl.
The girl. So the girl moved with
his people, and they went.
So the clan was abandoned.
The clan was not abandoned because of the wars of conquer that
they met in Abyssinia.
Yes. So when the Bamoori were moving out because of the wars of conquer, so they had to move out with their daughter who was pregnant by the king.
So Abyssinia is the current Ethiopia.
Abyssinia is the current Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, and part of Somalia.
Eritrea,
in fact, those countries found in the Horn of Africa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have you can continue before I remember.
So when they left out to Abyssinia, they came with the mother of Singoma Mpuga, by then who was pregnant, and reached Bunyoro. When they reached Bunyoro, the girl gave birth baby brothers, Singoma Mpuga and Kato Chimera.
They gave birth to twins,
and they were all boys.
Yeah, Richard Mpuga and Kato Chimera. After settling in East Africa,
Bunyoro. Yes.
Bunyoro.
Yes. So when they reached Bunyoro, they had to construct a palace for the mother who had just produced twins. Now, Singoma Mpuga, when he grew, he became an emperor and built a strong kingdom called Bunyoro Kitara Empire.
Richard Mpuga
built a strong empire called Bunyoro Kitara Empire. And his brother Kato Chimera went to the eastern part and started another kingdom called Buganda Kingdom.
Yes.
But when the Baganda saw him with one cow, they named him Kintu. Yeah. So it is that Kintu who married the daughter of Guru from heaven. Yeah. He went to heaven and married a daughter from there.
Okay.
So don't ask me how did he
how did you go to heaven at that time?
How did he go to heaven?
Okay.
Yeah. So after a while, after staying in Bunyoro, the Bamoori moved from Bunyoro, and when they moved, they went in two directions. The first group of the Bamoori from Bunyoro, they moved to the southwest up to Bwera.
They moved from the southwest up to Bwera. That is the first group.
Yeah, that's the first group. And why did they go to Bwera? In Bwera there was a king or Omugabe called Omchwez Wamara. And Omchwez Wamara was the last king of the Wachwez. So they had gone to Bwera because the Omchwez Wamara was a nephew to the Bamoori.
Oh, the Mchwezi Wamara was the nephew to the Bamoori.
Yes.
That's why they moved to Bwera.
Yes.
What is a nephew? A nephew, this is a person who is your sister's son. It's called a nephew.
Yes.
Yes. So he was basically the nephew of the Bamoori. So they followed their line.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the Mchwezi Wamara was staying in Bwera, presently called the Nkole Kingdom. And the second group moved from Bunyoro, passed via Toro, to then reached Katwe, Kabator, at the salt of the lake. There is a lake that produces salt.
Salt.
Yeah.
Katwe.
So it is called Katwe.
Yes.
Then from Katwe they proceeded up to Kalemba Kachibi.
Kalemba Kachibi.
Yes, there's a river called Kalemba Kachibi.
Yeah. Huh?
But one day the Mzungu was crossing, that is Henry Maton Stanley. He met there Mkonzo woman, and the Mkonzo woman was carrying a basket at the back. See the Mkonzo they carry from the back.
Yes.
And the Mzungu asked, what is the name of the river? Since the Mkonzo could not understand the language, the Mkonzo thought that maybe they were asking what is in the basket. And then the Mkonzo replied, Tata Semlich.
So, Rukonjo.
Yes, in Rukonjo, that there's nothing in the basket. So
Tata Semlichi, like there is nothing in the basket.
So the Mzungu had Semlik and wrote a river Semlik.
So that's how River Semlik came into position.
Yeah, that's how River Semlik came into existence, but it was called Kalemba Kachibi.
It was called Kalemba Kachibi.
Yes.
That is the indigenous name.
The original name.
Oh, Kalemba Kachibi.
Yes.
So when they reached on Kalemba Kachibi,
now, when they reached Kalemba Kachibi, the Bamoori and other group that were following the king failed to cross to the other side of the river because it was a huge river and running very fast. Now, after good days, Nyabwongo made Etsengu.
Etsengu, what is Etsengu?
Etsengu is like making
a boat,
but made of sticks.
Yes, this plain boat. Those who don't know boats, but
yes.
It's not a yacht.
You just sit, but you can even sit when legs are just in the water.
Yes, but it's a wooden boat. It's always flat, but it balances on water.
Yes. So he made Etsengu, and after he made them to cross with their animals to the other side of the river.
Yes.
Now, after crossing, they thanked God who had enabled them cross that huge river, and they named that place Kanyamongo.
Kanyamongo.
Meaning Akambo Kanyabongo.
Akambo Kanyabongo.
Yes.
So after because of the leader called Nyabongo.
Nyabongo, yes.
So Akambo Kanyabongo, which means the shores of Nyabongo.
Yes. Now, they told Nyabongo to always sacrifice yearly to remember what God has made for them. And after, they crowned him a king.
So let me understand this in a normal setting. Let me repeat it the way I understand it.
Yes.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong. So what you're trying to say that from Abyssinia,
yes,
when they moved to Bunyoro, they divided themselves into two sections.
Exactly.
The first section moved to Bwera.
Yes.
Then the second section moved to Katwe, to Kanyabongo, or near River Semiliki.
Yes.
So this was led by Nyabongo. Nyabongo, who had a vision.
Yes.
Of constructing that boat.
Yes.
So after the construction of that boat, with his people, they crossed
to the other side of the river.
Yes, to the other side of the river.
Yes.
After the crossing to the other side of the river, then the God who gave him that vision or that calling said you should thank him each and every year.
Yes.
By giving sacrifices.
Sacrifice yearly.
Yeah, which kind of sacrifice?
They could kill a cow.
A cow?
And they smoke it.
They smoke it. They could eat the meat afterwards?
Yes.
They could eat the meat afterwards?
They could not eat the meat.
They could just kill the cow and smoke it?
Smoke it.
Then was it a feast?
It was like saying thank you to their God.
Yes, but what happened to that
them,
meat?
They could believe that God could eat the smoke.
Oh, it was a thanks.
It was a thank.
Yeah, like in the Bible, how who is this? Abraham wanted to sacrifice his son
Isaac.
So to this context, Abraham was Nyabongo. Then the sacrifices, instead of sacrificing the son, it was the sacrifice of the animals.
The animal.
Oh.
Yeah, so they told him to always do that yearly to remember what God has done for them.
So it became a custom.
It became,
That he should do it yearly.
yearly.
Him and his people. Or him and his offspring.
So finally, after Nyabongo being crowned as a king at that particular place,
yes,
he feared to stay in the wilderness. So he decided to move out of because where there is a river, automatically there is a valley.
Okay.
You know that?
Yes,
So
there are always. So he was deep in the valley.
Deep in the valley. Could not stay deep.
He was on the shores.
On the shores.
So after he migrated,
he had to move to where there is no shore and stayed in a place called Nyakagongo Chiyanja in Kasaka.
Nyakagongo Chiyanja in Kasaka.
In Kasaka, yes.
So basically, that transformation from from the valley to Nyakagongo Chiyanja Kasaka.
Yes.
It's where he moved.
It's where he moved and constructed his palace.
His palace.
Yes.
And okay. Then did he move with anyone by then?
Yes, he was with his people. They were Basongora and the slaves that these big people could move with. For example, those who could carry their luggages and whatever. They could always move with the slaves.
Then how did the other tribes come in?
Which tribes?
The tribe, because I heard that he moved with the rainmaker. How did that happen?
Until now, those were the slaves. And the tribe mates that he had, but from different clans, those were the Basongora that they could move with. Like, for example, we have the Mugabe Wankole. Him is a Muhinda by clan.
Yes.
But he's ruling very many clans in Ankole.
Oh.
Are you getting a point?
Yes.
Yeah, so where a king is, there are other people.
So the king was a Bamoori.
Yes, the king was a Bamoori, but
from the
Bamoori
tribe. But he moved with other clans.
Other clans.
So the movement of other clans aided him. They were still his people.
Yes. Yeah.
So when he reached, when they migrated from the valley and they moved uphill,
up to Nyakagongo Chiyanja Kasaka.
Nyakagongo Chiyanja Kasaka.
Yes.
So he built a palace there.
So he built a palace there. Yes. Now, it is from that man Nyabongo that most of the Bamoori in Uganda and other parts of East Africa. When I talk about Uganda, I mean places in Uganda. Kasese, Ankole, Toro, Bunyoro, even Buganda, that Bamoori are scattered these days.
So remember, there were two factions.
Yes.
So we have one faction of Bwera and another faction of
which crossed the river and went to the other side of Congo.
Of Congo.
Yes.
So there are two factions. So every Mori comes from these two factions.
Yes.
He either comes from Bwera or from the. So what was the name of the kingdom?
The name of the kingdom was called Makara Kingdom.
Why the name Makara?
And it was called Makara Kingdom from the trees that were in that particular place. In that particular place, there were trees named Amakara. Amakara.
Oh.
So from the name Amakara of those trees that were found in that particular place, it's where the name of the kingdom came from, to be called Makara Kingdom. Like as how you could say Mbarara. Formerly Mbarara had this kind of grass called Mbarara, and it was named Mbarara because of that.
Yeah, it was named Mbarara because of the grass called Mbarara.
Even in Kampala, we had animals at Old Hill Kampala called Impala. Those Impala, they have horns with branches. If any one horn has got other branches, so they are called Impala. And because of those animals being there, so the people termed that place to be Kampala. And now today is the Kampala we are having.
So that is the origin of those names, in fact.
That's how the names came into existence. There is a cause how the name came into existence.
Then can you throw more light after of the kings? After Nyabongo?
Then after Nyabongo, a number of kings came following him. For example, after Nyabwongo 1, Nyabwongo 2 Achichi came as the second king, that is 1610 to 1670s. He was followed by Chomia 1, 1670 to 1720. Chomia 1 was followed by Kazoba 1 Achichi, that is 1720s to 1743. Ruguruka followed 1743 to 1770. Ngabu Bala 1 also followed 1770 to 1790.
Actually, let me cut you short on that. Ruguruka. Now, Ruguruka is the one who was my forefather.
Ruguruka.
Yes, Ruguruka.
Yeah, I see now, of course, those I'm outlining the names.
Yes.
But out of these names, now there are other grandchildren.
The other grandchildren branch out from that.
Yes, who branch out of that. So Ruguruka is where you come from.
Yes, the father that gave birth to my forefather and to my great grandfather was called Ruguruka.
Ruguruka.
Yes, it's
then that's good. Which means if I read all the names, if they are 20, everybody finds himself there.
Yes, he has to find his mark.
His mark there.
There.
But now, if that's the case, I see you have Wamara Mansur.
He was named after he was named after a king, like that line. You know, in Basongora there are almost 5 names.
Yes.
That in the Bamoori clan there are almost 5 names, 6 names, if I'm not mistaken.
They are like
there is Rugenda, Ruguruka, Ngabo, Wamara, Kazova, and
Njuganje.
Yeah.
So they are many, like 5 to 6.
Yes, just like 5 to 6, the main names.
Yeah. So after Ngabu Rugenda followed Atwochi, then after Rugenda Atwochi, Ngabu Bala the second, that is 1809 to 1837. Then Ngabu was followed by Chomi again, the second, 1838 to 1880. Then Nyabwongo Makoma followed 1880 to 1900. Wamara became the king in 1900 to 1910. Then Nyabwongo Murejerwa became the king in 1910 to 1924. Then Nyabwongo Murejerwa was followed by Njuganja Kadiadia, 1924 to 1965. But for him, he didn't reach 1965. He became the king in 1924. 1933, he was arrested by the British colonialists. Why was he arrested? He refused the idea of creating Uganda, boundaries of Uganda and Congo, separating his kingdom into 2 parts. He had wanted his kingdom to be in one side of the country, either in Uganda or in Congo, but not to be divided into 2 parts. And when the Bazungu refused his idea, what they did, they arrested him.
So they arrested him on grounds of refusal. The Scramble and Partition.
Yes.
So that's when was the Scramble and Partition of Africa?
The Scramble and Partition, it was geared by
Otto von Bismarck.
The Chancellor of Germany.
Yes, and what is the meaning of Scramble and Partition? Someone may ask, what is Scramble and Partition?
Scramble and Partition was the European power, or the European countries sharing African countries amongst themselves.
Yeah. So the colonial powers had to divide these countries to be their colonies among themselves.
Yes.
So it means they had to take over us.
So Uganda were taken up by British. DR Congo was taken
up by Belgians.
So we got married. That's why today you hear that Uganda got her independence. It got her independence.
We got married.
We got married. And that's why, even here in the studio right now, we are speaking English.
Wow.
Their language. Because they married us.
They colonized us already.
Yes.
So so this Kadiadi fought not his kingdom not to be separated
into 2. Yes. Either to be in one of the countries, but they didn't accept.
What was his historic background? Where did he get all that information? Kadiadi.
Kadiadi.
Yes.
Kadiadi being the king, one was almost, I say that in Basongora, the first student to study up to the level of outside in USA.
Oh.
He was
a land scholar.
Yes, he was a scholar who knew.
So that's how he saw the problem coming, yes. And he's like this.
So when he saw the problem, but these British colonialists could not believe him, and finally they had to arrest him. And when they arrested him, they had to make sure that as he come out of the prison, their deal should be over.
So how long did he spend in custody?
He spent 7 years in prison.
Because of
refusal.
Or because of the refusal?
Refusal, yes.
Then how did they make sure that these people have migrated, or they have transferred all his...
Yeah,
his
when
content?
He was put in prison, because now the king being the administration is under the king, you get me?
The administration part is under the king.
Yes, was no longer working out. So after the arrest of the king, now the Bazungu had to bring the rinderpests to the land of Basongora kingdom, that is Makara. Now when they brought the rinderpests, cows started dying. In addition to that, they brought in sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness didn't kill only animals, the cows, but even it killed the people.
So these people were in cohorts. The Belgians and the British were in cohorts.
Yes.
Were in the same bed.
Yes.
So the introduction of sleeping sickness, which was...
they were all coordinating.
Yeah, coordinating. In fact, they used vaccination.
The vaccination.
That led to the sleeping sickness.
The rinderpests. And they used the vaccination.
Why did they have so much interest in that land?
The interest was that they get a vast land to create Queen Elizabeth National Park and Virunga National Park.
Why that kingdom? Because that land would have gotten from elsewhere.
Yes.
Then why do these two sides come together and say, no, we need this part and the other people need the other part?
Now, most part of Basongora being in the Rift Valley, it was very, very fertile and cool, because almost it is in the Western Rift Valley. So being in the Rift Valley, it is very fertile. So they liked it for cotton growing to help the Industrial Revolution in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we fell culprit because of their own interest.
Exactly.
Wow. So after his imprisonment,
yes.
So where did these people where were they displaced to?
Now after his